All right, I am back. This will hopefully be the final video. We are currently on step 40. So we have our entire exterior completed, our interior completed. We have our strap connectors attached. We are now going to attach the zipper. So the first thing you'll do is 1 inch from the side seam on both sides. You'll make a mark, and you want it to actually be right along the edge so it's within the seam allowance. That top seam allowance is only 1/4 inch, so don't make it too long. 1 inch from the seam on both sides. Go to the other side. And make a 1 inch mark. Okay. So now, the pattern specifically says to use a number 5 zipper, which is 1.25 inches wide, so 1 1/4 inch. I don't have a zipper that's 1 1/4 inch in the color I want. I have a 1 inch zipper. I think this is a 3.5, I think is the number. I don't know. The tape is 1 inch wide. And I get these zippers from Zip It on Etsy. Zip It zippers. And they are YKK. But she has decent prices. She ships super fast. You buy 5 zippers at a time. So usually I'll just get, like, I bought all 14-inch zippers and then I cut them down as I need them. If I specifically need a different size, then I will go and place another order. But I kind of like that you get 5 zippers at a time, because that way you end up building up a variety of colors over time without ordering, you know, all of them at once. Okay, so now this is the side of the bag that has the front zipper pocket. We are going to unzip our zipper, and it's currently face down. So see, the pull is facing down. And because this is a 1 inch zipper, I am going to place it 1/8 inch in from the edge, and this will make it still wide enough when it's zipped up. Hopefully that makes sense. But you want to line up. Here's my 1 inch mark that I made, and the zipper stop should line up with that 1 inch mark. If you are using a number 5 zipper, like I instruct you to, then you will line it up with the raw edge. And we're going to clip this in place. Get some clips. Okay, I will clip mine 1/8 inch in from the edge, and I'm just going to eyeball that. Right here at the end, where you've got that zipper stopper, you want to fold this up so that it's out of the way, and that way it'll be inside the bag. You don't have any raw edge of zipper sticking out. And I just clip that like that. And I'll just clip this zipper on all the way down, and I'll keep it 1/8 inch in from the edge. And again, that's only if your zipper tape is only 1 inch wide. If you have a number 5 zipper and your tape is 1 1/4 inch wide, then you'll want to match that up with the raw edge, not 1/4 inch in. So I believe it's a 3.5 all-purpose zipper is the 1 inch wide tape. And I am going, okay, here is the other 1 inch mark that's on that side. So I'll continue clipping this. When we get down to that mark, what you want to do is curve your zipper in to trail into the bag. I'm not going to put another clip, and I'll just make sure that I trail that like that when I sew it on. But I'll know to watch for that when I get to that last clip. And we'll use a 1/4 inch seam allowance here. fold the connector down out of the way. Make sure that that end of the zipper stays folded up. And 1/4 inch. So this, using a 1-inch zipper here, it doesn't leave you much wiggle room, so you need to be pretty exact. I really do recommend a number 5 zipper, but of course I don't have any. I have a gray one. I have gray zipper tape that's the right length, but... And the reason that you want a number 5 zipper, the number 3, the way the top of the bag finishes at the end, it would just kind of pull it in too tight. So you really just want a number 5 for that. So if you can see my stitching here, can you? Nope. Let me... Okay. I'm really bad at this. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. So if you can see that, the zipper itself is being sewn in with only a 1/8 inch seam allowance. Make sure you don't trim your zipper tape in any kind of way, because it will fray and it will fall apart and your zipper will come out. So there's that 1 inch mark. Yep, you can't see that either. Okay, right here is the 1 inch mark. And I will continue sewing at a 1/4 inch seam allowance with my zipper tape 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. And right when I get to that mark, I'll curve the zipper down toward my bag, not up off the raw edge, but down in toward the bag. Just kind of like that. Hopefully you can see it. And then just sew it right off that edge. And back stitch. And clip the threads. I'll clip these threads. Okay, so I have the zipper attached to that side. Can you see here that it's 1/8 of an inch in the edge of the zipper, but it's a 1/4 inch from the edge of the fabric? So now we'll pin in place on the other side. Make sure here that your zipper is not twisted. It can help, you know, zip it up if you need to make sure that you don't have it twisted. Really important. Unzip that fully. And then here I start clipping it at this end again. Just so I can make sure that I have that zipper stop matched up with that 1 inch mark, so that it's going to be even with the other end of the bag, or the other side, when you zip it closed, that it isn't misaligned. Okay, and again, 1/8 of an inch in from the edge, because I have a 1 inch wide zipper tape. And I'll fold that end up out of the way so that it trails off the raw edge of the bag. Okay. And now I will clip all the way down. And this time we will start off with the closed end of the zipper that trails down into the bag. So we'll start sewing there. Hopefully I'm an even 1/8 of an inch. It's hard to do this all away from your body and on camera at a different angle than I'm used to doing it. Okay, so my other 1 inch mark is way down here. Let me put a couple more clips. Okay, and then at that mark, it will trail off. So I'm just going to start sewing it right there. Let's see if I can. Okay, and we'll sew again at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. We're really getting close to the end of the bag, so that's exciting. And back stitch. All right, now I don't trim, I mean, obviously I'm not going to trim this anyway, but be careful when you cut your zippers so they don't fray apart. I will trim off that little bit of excess of the end of the zipper there, and that won't cause any problems. Parts of this are really dark, I'm afraid. Okay. We are now on step number, let's see, we just completed step 42. Step number 43, turn the lining right side out and unzip the zipper pocket. So I already unzipped it earlier so that I wouldn't forget. I'm notorious for forgetting that. So I have, my lining is now right side out. My exterior is still inside out. And now I will take the lining and place it inside the exterior. I want this zipper to be along the side that has the slip pocket. And I'll place that lining right inside the exterior. The zipper here at the end, we want to tuck that down in between. Just like that. So it's out of the way. And then match up the side seams first. And clip or pin. And then I'll do a couple on this each side of that just to make sure everything stays nicely. Okay, this end will match up those side seams. And even though you sewed your lining at 5/8 of an inch seam allowance compared to 1/2 an inch for the exterior, it should still, everything should still match up okay. Or I usually don't have any issue with that anyhow. Okay, and then you'll just continue clipping the rest of the exterior to the lining. I'll do the other side. All right, now we will sew the exterior and the lining together. Let's see, this is step number 44. Very important note here, since we use 1/2 inch seam allowances throughout usually, this is only a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So if you use 1/2 inch, you'll be sewing on your zipper teeth, I think, and that won't be good. 1/4 inch seam allowance. And we're going to sew all the way around the entire top of the bag. And again, make sure you have that zipper pocket. The lining zipper pocket is unzipped. We'll have to see. Do you think you know, a camera angle maybe from behind my shoulder might be better than from above? Or maybe it should be up a little higher, because I feel like it's a little bit too close and you're maybe not seeing everything. So leave a comment and let me know what you think about the placement of the camera. That's something I'll work on now that I'm moved out here. Have my sewing room moved to where it will be. It's not going anywhere now. I can get a more permanent camera set up, because I really do want to make videos for all of my patterns. I sewed all the way around the top. I'll trim those threads. I don't trim this top at all. And again, you'd be cutting the zipper and that's bad. So we're going to turn this right side out through this pocket. I don't know how well I can get this on camera. Since the video seems so close to the camera. So, I mean, I'll try to keep it under here. We'll see. And I tried to leave the pocket big enough that you could turn it easily. And we just want the whole thing flipped right side out. Alright, there's a few threads peeking through. Trim those off as you go or as you see them. It's just easier to get it now than going through later looking for all that. Alright. Okay. So this is all right side out. I will flip my pocket now. I'm going to top stitch the bottom of the pocket closed. This is step 45. And I just do this while I still have the lining poking out. Alright, so we'll just sew along this, and really it's going to be tucked down in the bottom of the pocket, so I don't worry about my stitches showing. I know some people will like sew this shut by hand with the slip stitch so the stitches don't show, but really it's down in the bottom of the pocket. I don't think anybody's going to look in there to see if you sewed it closed like that, so I've always done it this way. I don't enjoy hand sewing. Alright. Okay, that's sewed closed. My stitches, or my threads are trimmed off. And now you'll just push that pocket down inside the zipper. And now you'll push the lining. Let's see, I can close that pocket. Push the lining down inside of the exterior. Alright, so the next thing that we do is top stitch all the way around this top edge of the bag. Before I do that, I'm going to go over to the ironing board and press this really well, and then I'll turn it inside out. I always top stitch my bags inside out. Maybe it's because I have a flatbed sewing machine and that's what I'm used to doing, but yeah, I'm going to go over to the iron and I'm just going to press this. Okay, so I'm back. Bag is pressed well, really only around this top edge by the zipper, and I turned it inside out. And now I will top stitch all the way around the top edge of the bag. I usually like to start, we'll start on this end. I like to start at one of the sides, just because then if the stitching doesn't match back up perfectly, or you're back stitching across that, and so there's going to be like a thicker area of thread since there's a couple lines. I don't like it to be like front and center on the bag. So I start my top stitching always on the ends if I can. And we'll just do a couple stitches and then back stitch. And I did increase my stitch length to 4 for top stitching. And we'll just do 1/8 of an inch all the way around the top of the bag below the zipper. And I made sure that I pressed the lining and the exterior both away from the zipper. So you're top stitching a nice even 1/8 of an inch, hopefully on the lining side too. You could at this point, if you want the stitching to not show on the lining as much or be as obvious, that you could switch your bobbin to a color that matches the lining. So I could have put a pink bobbin in. Oh, I do have pink thread actually. It probably is the same color as that. I should have probably done that, but too late now. Okay. And you see, I just keep pulling that lining fabric tight. Or, I'm sorry, the exterior fabric. I keep pulling it tight and pulling the zipper away. You get a nice crisp line that way. I try to always stop with my zipper or my needle down to hold things in place. Hopefully I'm not running out of, I don't run out of bobbin while I'm going. That usually seems to be the case when you run out of bobbin thread, is right while you're doing the final top stitch. Alright. So I made it all the way around, did not run out of bobbin. So that's good. I'll trim these threads. And now you're safe to turn your bag right side out. And other than looking wrinkly and needing a really good press all over, the exterior of the bag is finished. And you can see when you zip it up why you want that wider zipper tape, so that the top of it's not like really pulled in too close, too tight. The ends will be like this. This end will get a zipper end or a zipper tab, and then you tuck it down inside. Honestly, if I was making it for myself, I would just leave it. It's a finished end of the zipper. It's not going to fall off, and it's tucked down inside the bag, so you won't see it. Alright, so we're going to set this aside, and it's time to make the strap, and then we'll give the whole bag a good press, and we're almost finished. Let me grab my strap pieces. Okay, we are now on step number 46. So I have my strap pieces. If your fabric is directional, you want to make sure that both pieces will end up going in the same direction. So right here I have the top is facing that way. So then the piece that's on top facing down is right side up. So the top is facing that way. So it's like this. You want to put that piece face down on top of the other strap piece at a 90-degree angle, and matching these corners, these edges. I'm going to stick a couple pins in here just to hold it. I'm going to throw these pins away when I'm done and buy some new ones. They're really horrible. I don't know why they don't want to slide in. It's almost like they're sticky, but they don't feel sticky. Okay, now I need my ruler and a pen or marking, whatever marker. You want to go from that corner at the top, which is the corner of the bottom piece. Line that up with that corner and line up with the corner, the bottom corner of the top piece, and draw a line. Now the way that you know if you have the line drawn in the right direction, that did not even mark. Let me try that again. I wonder if it's time for a new pen. Okay. The way you know that you have it in the line going the right way, is that you'll have a corner. If you drew it from this edge to this edge, then you don't see that triangle. So you know it goes from this corner to this corner, you have a triangle. You'll sew right along that line. And the reason that I sew this at an angle is just to cut down on bulkiness. If you sew them end to end, then you're going to have like one thick bulky area. And when you have a strap slider on there and it's just too thick, you can't move it. So I always do this way, which is the same way that like a quilt binding is sewn. So now you'll trim this corner off, but before you do that, open it up and make sure that it's sewn together correctly and will form one long piece. The directional prints are facing the same direction. And then you'll cut this corner triangle off about 1/4 of an inch away from that stitching line. Now I'm going to press that seam open and top stitch on both sides of the seam. And again, that's to reduce bulkiness. It doesn't make the strap weaker since it's going to be folded up. It'll be fine. So hold on just a minute. Okay, so I pressed that seam open, and now I'm going to top stitch 1/8 of an inch on either side or both sides of that seam. Dropping everything. I also have to add that it's like 11:30 p.m. so hopefully I don't make any dumb errors since I'm getting tired. But I would really like to finish these videos up, so alright. Trim those threads. Okay, so now we have the 2 pieces attached, and now we have one long continuous strap piece. So what I'm going to do, because I can't film at my ironing board right now, I'm going to take the strap to my ironing board and iron the whole entire thing in half first. And then once that's ironed in half and I have this crease along the center, I'll fold both of the long raw edges in toward that crease and press those. So it'll be both of these pressed in towards the center. And then once I have that pressed, I'll keep that folded, fold in half again along that original line, and then you have your strap with all raw edges will be contained in the middle. So I'm going to go to my ironing board and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my whole entire strap ironed. Raw edges, long raw edges are all folded to the center. I'm now going to top stitch 1/8 of an inch away from the edge, down each of the long edges. I start with the open side so that I can close that up first, and I do back stitch at the start and the stop. And then I do kind of adjust also as I go. If anything gets off track where it's not lined up, and I just adjust that. I suppose you could pin this or clip it. If I use vinyl, then I use double-sided tape. And as I fold, I'll draw a line down the center of my strap. And I will put double-sided tape on each side of that line. And I'll stick the long cut edges in to that line and press them down on that tape. And then I'll run another line of tape along one of the folds, and then I'll press those both together. And I still sew along the open edge first, and then sew on that folded edge second. Alright, you'll notice now I'm sewing over the part where I adjoin the straps. I actually already sewed over the other side, and it's relatively flat doing it that way. You don't have a bulge, so I didn't even notice. If you have fabric that's long enough that you can cut a continuous piece, then that's always an option as well. Not sure if you can hear my kids laughing in the background. They don't have school tomorrow, so I let them stay up late, and I'm not honestly sure what they're doing. Playing video games, I think. Apparently it's pretty funny, and I think I just ran out of bobbin thread. And I did. Hopefully that won't be too noticeable. I'm going to reload my bobbin right now, so I'll pause the video for that. Okay, my bobbin is reloaded. If this was like in the middle of my strap, I would probably seam rip all the stitches out and start over. But since it's toward the end, and it will probably be folded up in the with the adjustable part, I'm going to leave it. So I'll make sure I back stitch a couple times over the end of the stitches to hold those in place. And I'm finished sewing down that open edge. It's so close to making it too. right. Oh, let me back stitch a couple. All right. And now we'll sew down the other, trim these threads, we'll sew down the other folded side. And I am using a stitch length of 4 for this. Almost finished. All right. Trim the rest of the threads off. And now we will attach the slider and attach the strap to the bag. So we are on step number 49. The first step is to press one end of the strap under by 1/2 an inch. I'll go to the ironing board and press this real quick and be right back. Okay, so I have that pressed. Now I will take my strap slide, and with that, the pressed underside facing down, feed this up from the bottom of the slider over that bar in the center. Sometimes these move. There are ones that are fixed in place. I like to get these wider ones because the strap moves through them easier. Some of the ones with the fixed bar are just more narrow and it's a little bit more difficult to adjust the strap. So you go over that bar in the center and push that down through the other side so that it will look like this. Scooch this down to the end and you will bring that folded side of your strap down against the other part of the strap. So what you have is like this. And now you will top stitch right along that fold. And I back stitch a couple times. You want to make sure your straps are very secure. Trim the threads. And then one more line of stitching, and this one you'll get as close to that hardware as you can. Okay. So now that we have both of those lines of stitching on, let's see, this would be, that's step 50. So now step number 51, let me grab the bag. Okay. We have this end of the bag, whichever end, I guess it doesn't matter which end you start the adjustable part on. And we want to take the strap this way, so that part that's folded back is to the right. And I'll pull the whole strap so that it, just like this, so that I keep it the right way. I keep the right side of the strap facing whichever direction. And we'll feed that down through the top of this rectangle ring and just pull it all the way down. Okay, so now we have the adjuster down near that rectangle ring. This part that's folded back is to the right. Your bag is to the left. That was step number 51. Step number 52, you're taking, and again, make sure it's not twisted. You're taking the other end of the strap, bringing it back. It's on the outside now of this rectangle ring, so it's going right around that. Bring that back up through the bottom of this end of the adjuster, and then down over the center adjuster part in that fabric, and back down through the other side. Oops. And right there is what makes it adjustable, the way that we did that. Now it's adjustable. And you see how easy it went over that adjoining seam because of how we did it at an angle? There's no problem adjusting right over top of that. It's nice and flat. All right. So then we'll bring this. Make sure that your strap is not twisted. Okay. Let's see. All the way down. And what we're going to do is take this over to the ironing board and press that under 1/2 inch and then under again so that the raw edges are enclosed in here, and we'll put the rectangle ring right down in that fold. Let me go press that real quick. Okay, this is step number 54. So I just pressed both, press that other open end of the strap under 1/2 inch and then 1 inch. Now I'll slide that rectangle ring into that fold, and we will stitch right along this edge about 1/8 of an inch away, and then as close to the hardware as we can get. And I feel like when you don't stitch close to the hardware on the bag and the fabric is looped through like that, it sometimes will shift. Your rectangle rings will go sideways and the whole strap will be, you know, holding on by a skinny edge. So I always try to sew as close as I can to the hardware, and that keeps it from twisting. Have you had that happen before where it twists and it's just, you know, on one of the small sides? Okay, so really the bag needs pressed, but it's done other than step 55, which is the zipper end. Let me go find that and I will show you how to attach that real quick. Okay, so I got my zipper end, which looks like this. I order them from Emmeline Bags, and they come with a little screw that you screw into the back, which will attach it. And I also like to use this Gutermann HT2 glue, just to make sure they stay on. So, let's see. You'll squeeze a little bit of the glue right down inside that zipper end. And that will just really make sure that it stays in place. You can use other fabric glue for that. You fold the zipper tab. I guess I don't know technically if this is the right way. I imagine that Emmeline Bags has a video probably for how to attach these. This is how I do it. I fold the zipper back underneath on itself as such. And then with it folded, I stick it in to the zipper end and just shove that in there as far as I can, just like that. And then on the back side, take that screw and get it started. You don't want to, if it's not going in straight, don't force it, because you'll strip it out. It's a soft metal, it's pretty easy to strip. Oh. And this is just a glasses screwdriver that I use. And I use it always for these little screws on these things. It works well. And you'll just screw that in all the way. And be careful not to strip it out like I'm doing. Alright. So your zipper tab is attached. It's not going anywhere. Plus that glue's in there and it will be really secure. And I mean, they're really pretty, so I hate to waste them for this because I just tuck it down inside. You can leave it out if you want. Or make a zipper tab, which I will have a tutorial for how to make zipper tabs on my Facebook, or on my blog, which is at sincerelyjenpatterns.com. And right up at the top, you can find, there's a link to click on for the blog. And I will put a blog there for how to make zipper tabs. But I just tuck that down inside now. And your bag is complete. It just needs a good pressing. I hope the videos are helpful. Hopefully this was not too bad. Next time I'll try to be a little bit further away, I think. And maybe use something besides my phone to record with. So we'll see what happens. But thanks for watching, and I hope I helped you.